Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith, hanging out with Davi Santos. Tell me a story out today. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you very much, DJ. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into it. People can watch the first episode right now. It's Halloween, so I feel like it's the perfect time to do that. Mm-hmm. So how did Tell Me a Story come into the picture for you?
I was presented with the pilot episode. It was so dark, and it just resonated too. We talk about like Trump America, as well as these characters' lives personally, and it just encompassed so much at once. And then everything started like popping and exploding and going crazy, and it just seemed like such a roller coaster, a relevant as well as fun roller coaster.
Yeah, definitely relevant. And like thinking about your childhood, it's these childhood stories that kind of warps your whole reality. Yeah. It's like you're seeing Hansel and Gretel in a totally different way, and Little Red Riding Hood and stuff like that.
Right.
So, we're used to these stories, but it's like a brand new way, which I think is a really fascinating take on these things.
Yes, yeah. The Three Little Pigs, there was like a police brutality protest scene, and then everyone had pig masks, and then the three guys doing a jewelry heist took advantage of the pig masks to use it and then flee into the crowd, and then boom, the Three Little Pigs are born, Yeah. So it's just great how they were able to do that.
And so your character, Gabe, how did you prepare for the role?
I just went to a lot of clubs, and I took a lot of drugs. No. A lot of it, does come from just growing up in New York City and understanding and having experiences in the nightlife and such. But a lot of it, too, is stuff that I hope I never actually experience, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to have to run from.
Most would like to avoid those things,
yeah. You know what I mean? So, but it was just being in tune with with the story. I think it's more about his principles and his values, and having so many demons that he has to overcome, both for himself as well as with Hansel and Gretel, so his sister.
Yeah.
And I think that was where I was able to really prepare, because that's what it's really about at the end of the day. We all have the shock factors and like the murders and deaths and everything, but at the end of the day, he is trying to deal with a lot of things for himself, as well as the one person that he has that loves him.
Yeah, no, that sounds really interesting. So at this point in your career, you've been on a bunch of different sets. When you think about this cast, this crew, a lot of really talented people. So how does this cast and crew compare to others that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah, it's a little odd that since we do have three different storylines, and sometimes they do intersect, they kind of figure eight through. Sometimes you're together, then all of a sudden you're apart. I'm usually just working with Danya, and then we have these other supporting characters that come into our lives and weave in and out ourselves before we can merge with the grand ensemble, But nevertheless, Danya is still an extraordinary actor to work with, both as a person as well as on screen. So I think I really lucked out with this kind of ensemble.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And for your career, you've written, you've produced, you did the whole Fame thing in high school, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to get into that. But when you think about your career, like when did you feel as though things were starting to take the next step? Because obviously, like CBS All-Access show, like that's a big deal. That's network money. That's a huge step. But when did you feel like things were starting to move in the right direction from, okay, I want to be an actor too, now I'm in the business
I feel like
starting
I'm
to do it? Yeah, exactly.
It's so bizarre because you would imagine like, oh, there's the big break, and then all of a sudden your life is like, it's there. But I feel like life is comprised of a lot of big breaks, like your first agent, you can, I have an agent, I'm legit, and then it's like, no, your first job. I was in college, and then I shot like a self-tape for this ABC sitcom, and then in my friend's Forest Hills, Queens apartment, and then like I get a phone call midnight from my agent in LA, and he's like, you have to be on a plane tomorrow, you're a guest star, and I'm working with James Vanderbeek and like Kristen Ritter, and it was like, oh wow, now it's real. And then then it's like your first series, Power Rangers was like this mainstream experience, and it was like, oh okay, but now this, you know what I mean? So
I've grown up watching the Power Rangers, now I am one.
Yeah. So it's this consistent evolution of I guess like finding a new level and then regaining your senses and what the industry is and what your relationship is with it, and art, as well as if there is a difference between like business, industry, and then all the stories that you want to tell and your relationship with them.
So you mentioned before about Tell Me a Story, perfect for the time, perfect for the day.
Oh yes.
When people check it out today, what do you want them to walk away thinking about the program?
Oh man, I feel like I have a feeling that they won't be able to not think about the program when they walk away.
They're probably going to be wanting a little more.
Yeah,
right?
I sure was. Every time I read an episode, I was always kind of left with this like thirst for blood. No, this thirst for just like knowing what was going to happen. I know. I just want to know what happens. There's so many twists and turns, and I love the fact that it's like just when you think someone is good for these reasons, they suddenly reveal a trait that is very human, but now all of a sudden you're in this moral quandary as to how do you feel about them, and it raises questions about yourself, you know. And then until, of course, they like chop someone's finger off or something for their like iPhone passcode, and then you're like, okay, well, we know what level where you are. But I mean, that's like the fun of it. It's the haunting aspect of all of these gray zones of, oh, this could be my life, this could happen to me, and then all these parts where you're just like, okay, now I'm in this thriller and stuff. It's like crazy, and you have to navigate it. It's a life and death situation. And you're able to be a little bit more, you know, it's a suspenseful, thrilling roller coaster. So yeah, it's back and forth between like morality as well as the crises.
Yeah, and you think about CBS All Access. I mean, perfect for the binging audience of today, but it's not giving you everything.
It's
where
not.
You're just, you know,
I know.
wanting it all. But I think that's good because you'd spend, you know, your entire night watching the show. So it's probably better not to do that on
like
on
10
Halloween.
hours.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's good that. See, that's why. I mean, Kevin, who loves Halloween, wanted everyone to watch the show, but also have time to go to their parties.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, people would be just at home binging the entire time. They would have started at midnight, and it would have been 10 a.m., and they would have been exhausted.
Would have missed all the parties.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Davi Santos. Catch him on Tell Me a Story on CBS All Access. We'll see you next time here on The Sit Down.